Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Supportive Oracle cards, Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay, we got that. We are good. We are good. Okay, let's see. Let's get some of... We gotta finish getting the cards out. I like what we're seeing so far. Let's see how it goes. What is that card there? Yes. This is good. And I think one of the reasons this is going to be good is because I feel like Taurus is good at stabilizing things. That may be an earth sign thing anyway, but Taurus is really active. Kind of like, that's shaky. We need to fix it. And you go and you fix it. That seems to be a strength of Taurus. I mean, let me know in the comments below if you don't think that's how it is. Because I can always learn more from people who are actually Taurans. But it's like, that's not right. Not acceptable. And you go over and we're like, we're going to make it more stable. We're going to stabilize this. Going into the situation, whatever this... Well, it seems like it's the current leg of the run. Or current leg of the current leg of the journey. Because... You got the Four of Swords with the Four of Wands. Which it feels like it's the current leg of the journey. You're kind of holding back when this starts, but this is something you're very connected to. One of the reasons you're holding back at this point is kind of like, it's going along the way it's going along, and it's staying on course at its certain rate. Like what's happening in this situation is what normally happens, what you expect to happen. It's going as expected. That's kind of what I want to say here. So you're not like jumping in to do anything or move anything around. But at the same time, when you're sitting here with the Four of Swords, you're like, well, let me think about what's going on here. And there's certain things you don't like. There are certain things you don't like, but you're also at the same time, like, you're feeling very human. Kind of like, you know what? Sometimes the way I go about this isn't the best. Sometimes the way other people goes about this isn't the best. But if I want things to really improve here, I gotta find a way to work with this other person. Usually for most of you it's going to be one person, but it could be more than one. So you're kind of like, you have a lot of humility here. Kind of like, you're not saying like you do everything perfectly, but you're like, I go into this with a lot of good intention. So you got a lot of humanity and humility here. I'm just really feeling it. Kind of like, I want this to go better, but I want to be realistic. Because if I just try to bull through it, it doesn't work. And I know that doesn't work for everybody. People don't all work my way. You really, like, this is giving you quite the advantage, quite frankly. Like, I really see this. For those of you that are hitting with this, you're in this really strong, like, self-humility in the sense of, like, in a positive way, kind of like, I'm not saying I do everything perfectly, but I do go into it with good intention. So you're just trying to be like, how can I do this to where it'll be effective and actually make a positive, permanent change? Really good energy here. It's very positive in my opinion. Just kind of like, I want to make things better, and I want to look at it honestly. Like, everybody has their way, and we all have our faults, and you're just kind of in that mode. Like, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I do have good intention, so how can I go into this and handle this a little differently? Now, you're coming up against this energy. Now, it depends what it's matching with, it depends what it's matching with. Let's just start there. This energy can be difficult for Earth sometimes. It depends. It's here by itself. To me, it does seem like it starts off kind of harsh. Kind of brutal. It does feel kind of brutal to start with. But Earth is very strong, and you can absorb this energy and kind of just, like, I feel like you're absorbing it. Like, let me think about what this is. Let me just, what's the deal with this? It's kind of like that. Somebody's coming at you very strongly. But at the same time, you have that, like, yeah, I'm not saying I'm perfect. Let me just think about what's going to happen next. You could get very upset about this, but I feel like you're choosing not to. You're kind of like, that's a little harsh. Something's a little off here. This isn't right. But I have other goals in mind, and if I start firing back, I don't see this going a good direction. I don't see this heading where I want it to be. If I start firing back, I kind of see this going worse, and I kind of feel like it could even get worse than that. So let me just absorb, think about what's going on here, and kind of feel out what this person is doing and why they're coming at me a little harshly. Because I do feel like that's happening. Well, this makes sense. The second chakra, the sacral chakra, and that's what the second chakra is, in case you don't realize, whoever's watching. The second chakra is the sacral chakra, if you want to look it up, in case you need information with that. And the strategy. The sacral chakra, to me, it's about home. It's about feeling loved. It's about the family type feel. Like, where do I feel taken care of? Where's my home base? Like, that's the home base chakra. That's how I view it. Other people have a little bit differences on that, I've noted, but that's, just to be fair, that's how I view it. It's where you feel comfort. That's kind of where I'm getting it from, too. I don't know if that's, I may be pushing my luck with that, just to be fair. But you have, like, the strategy coming in with this is a very, again, positive energy, in my opinion. How do I handle this and actually make a good outcome? Because it's not just going to be this moment. It's not going to be this one moment. Whatever happens in this moment, it's going to carry on to the next. And it's going to bleed into the one after that. And it's going to go into the one after that. It's like this moment is going to start a cycle. It's going to start gaining its own momentum. How I handle this moment is going to define the next 3 or 4 months. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. So that's how you're looking at it. That's how you're handling it. Let me think about this. Let me pull it together. I want things to go better. So I'm going to keep this in a certain way, in a certain, I'm going to hold it together in a certain fashion. Now, the other person, they got a lot coming in here too, but they seem to not really understand you to start with. Other people might have to help them, but there's a lack of connection here. Lack of connection, lack of focus. At first, I don't think they're taking you seriously for some reason at first. I'm getting that feeling just at the beginning. They're not really kind of like wanting to hear you and not really absorbing much at first. But I do think that's going to change. The thing is, I think you know it. I think you see it, and I just feel like you're slowly dealing with it. You're realizing there's some adversity here, and you're slowly working with it. I'm getting the community card here, which kind of looks a lot like the Three of Cups. It has kind of the similar energy, in my opinion. I think it's supposed to. Anyway, other people are not paying it. Some people aren't paying attention to you. Other people are looking at you like, what do you want? Even like, and some people are like, do you really have a point? Like, they're starting to listen, but it's like an uphill battle. Although Taurus will make that uphill battle. Taurus will face it, go through it, and not give up. So, it starts off, I don't want to say rough. It just feels like you're not being responded to in the beginning. And then this card comes in. The 7th chakra, which is the crown chakra. You do end up gaining, I want to say, a form of an ally. Now, when I say a form of an ally, like, I don't think this person is normally on your side, for whatever that means. But, like, when I'm getting that crown chakra, like, you're saying something or doing something that's kind of, like, clicking with them. Like, wait, the Taurus kind of has a point. That's, like, this is, like the unusual ally here, or something like, it might be, I don't know if it's temporary or what the deal is, but something's clicking. You're saying something, something's clicking. They're like, you know what, the Taurus, that's a good point. That is a good point. And somebody is like becoming an ally for you, unexpected or otherwise. And what it goes into next is the angel of love, because somebody is backing you up and somebody is finally hearing something you're saying you have a point. The angel of love is basically what I'm getting is like when this other person, and it takes this other person to listen to you, and says, you know what, the Taurus said blah, 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 and you know what, I do agree with that part of it. So it's like a partial ally. A partial, like there's something you're saying, you're making sense to somebody, they're hearing you. They're like, you know what, I do agree with that portion of what the Taurus said. That piece, that piece makes sense to me. I think that makes sense. They seem to be winning over the others, whoever the others may be. They're winning somebody else over, because I feel like it's more than one person for most of you. And it's finally coming around, and they're like, you know what? All right, you know what? Let's do this. Let's at least hear the Taurus out. Who knows? Maybe, like, well, you're saying that piece, it makes sense. Like, somebody's questioning that. They're saying, I think this piece makes sense. But the Taurus said, this piece makes sense. And somebody else seems to be challenging that. Like, well, how does that make sense? What do you mean? Well, I don't know. Let's give the Taurus a chance to explain. That's where I think the enjoyment comes out. Yeah. the angel of love, because I feel like there's some community effort going on here. Now, you have to hold the line with this. The Seven of Wands, like, you're overcoming the difficulties. That's the Seven of Wands. The Star card is you're hopeful for the situation at this point, but there is anxiety here. There's definitely anxiety here, because it's like, it's been an uphill battle, I get, from this point. Like, it feels like an uphill battle. But you're hopeful, and you're overcoming this adversity because somebody is listening, and you know somebody is. And I feel like once you identify who that is, you're like, all right, they want to listen to me. I have to make sure I keep giving them reasons to listen to me. Like, you're very smart about that. Like, if I want this and I need this to keep going forward, I got to work with the strengths here. There's anxiety, though. There is anxiety. There's the Knight of Cups with the Five of Wands here in the environment. There's adversity. There's adversity. I get this because it feels like there's infighting. Like, I don't know if they're fighting with you as much as fighting with each other, because I feel like somebody listening to you seems to upset the apple cart. That seems to be like somebody's like, what do you mean you're listening to the Taurus? Why are you listening to the Taurus? Like, what were you talking about? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Somebody's getting bent out of shape because somebody said, yeah, no, the Taurus makes sense, and somebody got upset about it. A different person, like person A said, yeah, Taurus makes a little bit of sense here. Person B said, what do you mean? They seem to get bent out of shape about it. Something's bent out of shape. But I'm getting the Knight of Cups is like, whoever person A is, which I'm trying to make this coherent, whoever person A is, other people around the situation will now allow person B to attack person A. This is how things are changing more into your favor. I don't know exactly where we're going with this, so we're just going to go with it. Because the cornucopia is the deceit. What I mean by that is, like, something is off. I'm like, what I mean by I don't know where we're going with this, like, I don't really know if you're aware of this or if they just want you to be aware of this. Something may look better on the outside than it actually is. Tread carefully. Don't move forward until called upon. Like, tread carefully. Move very slowly. The energy behind the scenes has to solve itself first. If you move forward too quickly, it's going to be really unstable. You got to give it some time to solidify, which usually Taurus is really good at making the smart move. But I'm getting like this infighting behind the scenes. I don't think you're aware of it. If you were aware of it, yeah, you'd probably be like, okay, I got to let that settle first before I do anything. But I don't think you're aware of it. And I think that's what they're saying. Like, be aware that, like, it looks good on the outside, but on the inside, there's something that, because these two cards kind of cover each other. I'm holding them like this, but this is how it actually works. Be aware of it. Wait till you're called upon to move forward to the next step. Because that has to be fixed. That has to be, like, ironed out. When that does come in, you are going to make a difference. There's a lot going on here. You've got the Ten of Pentacles with the Empress. Don't get caught up in the gender, or whatever gender you may be, doesn't matter. But you care a lot about this situation. You wouldn't bother with it if you didn't. I mean, not for nothing. This is an uphill battle. Why would you bother if it didn't mean something to you? You do hold a very important piece of stabilizing the whole situation. That's the Ten of Pentacles. You got double sun cards. You got two sun cards. It's a very good outcome. You're adding in that sun energy. You're adding in the sun energy. You're causing is it Magician in the Mirror? Magician in the Mirror to happen. That's basically somebody looking at themselves and saying, what I think is going on versus what's actually going on. It's kind of like somebody thinking, like when somebody goes out to dinner and they think they look great, then somebody points out, yeah, you forgot to you forgot to put on your eyebrows. I don't know why I'm using that analogy because I don't wear makeup, but like everybody, somebody's like, yeah, I look great. And, you know, they're like, you do, and you would even look better if you had eyebrows. Not to make that a slam, like, no, but you know what I mean. It's kind of like you're saying, look, listen, you think this is perfect, but I know you like to have the eyebrows too. You didn't pencil those in, like you forgot to do that. Or it's kind of like if somebody brings a cake, you're like, yeah, that's great, but you know, you didn't do this, or you didn't frost the cake. You forgot to frost it. Oh, I thought it was a perfect cake. Well, you're supposed to frost it. Oh, that's true. I don't know what other analogy I could give you. I usually do baking analogies, but I'm getting a makeup analogy for some reason. Kind of like somebody who normally puts on eyebrows, because it's not like I know that's a social standard, so it doesn't mean you have to put on eyebrows. I'm not saying that. I'm saying somebody who would normally go somewhere and they would draw in their eyebrows. They're showing up thinking everything is perfect, and then you're pointing out, hey, I know you normally would wear eyebrows, you didn't pencil those in this time. Oh no, like that type of feel. But you have a positive energy with that anyway, just to be fair. So you're causing the situation to evaluate itself. It is moving forward. The root chakra is coming in with the temple. Now, I don't probably have to go too far into this because this is, again, I feel normal Taurus energy. There's some of the base, some of the ground level that has to be fixed. We don't have to deconstruct the whole building to fix the base level. That's not what has to happen here. But there's some shaky pieces of the base level that we need to reinforce and strengthen to make sure that everything else is going to stabilize and stay where it's supposed to, and we're not going to have bigger problems later. But when you go into a situation trying to reinforce and correct some of the base area, that's gonna be a little bit unnerving sometimes, because, you know, when you mess with the base portion, people get a little nervous. It's going to take a bit. The temple is saying it's going to take a bit because there's some things here that you're seeing. We're going to have to dig down and look at the basement and fix some things in the basement. We're going to have to reinforce some supports. We're going to have to put some more protection here, some more protection there. It's not simple, but it is doable. And I think that's why you got the root chakra too, is because it's not simple, but it is doable. This is something you're more than willing to face. Again, you're stabilizing the thing more. You're putting more stabilization in here. You're kind of like, I know that doesn't look like fun. I know that's not a popular opinion, but if we really want this to go better, we need to deal with the base piece of this, and we need to reinforce and correct that. Now, this is winning out. This is going to go your way. You got the Lover's card with the Six of Swords. Now, what I'm getting from this is you want to be in this part. Watch who's supporting you and working with you, and work with that. There's going to be certain people who kind of just seem to fade off and they don't really pay attention to you. Let it be. Because I'm getting that's kind of a gift. The people who kind of like fade away, other people will pick up that where necessary. So just let that be. Those who walk away, let them. Because I feel like there's going to be certain people you're going to be like, yeah, but I need them to help me. Let other people handle that. I hope that makes sense. Because I'm getting there's enough support around you with the Lover's card that if somebody walks away but they're in control of this, or that they need to approve or be a part of this correction, other people who are more connected to the energy will get them to come forward, and they will balance that out. It doesn't seem to be a very cooperative energy towards you, which is in this case okay as long as you see it and like, okay, let somebody else deal with that. Somebody else will convince that person to come over here and fix it. Cool, that's fine. The Lover's card is the support you have, the correct support to get people who they won't deal with you, but they will do their part through somebody else. Let that happen. There's a lot of give and take on your side. Taurus is very giving anyway, it seems to me. But I feel like it's kind of like let the balance come in. Like let other people give to you as well. Like you don't have to go in there and convince everybody, but put the message out there to the right people who they can go over to people who don't want to deal with you and work with them. Work with the situation. Because I feel like Taurus is there's a lot of responsibility with Taurus, and kind of like, well, I want to go towards them and I want to tell them directly so that we're all legitimately on the same page. I want to show my respect to them, and then, it'll work out. This energy, whoever this energy is, they're just not going to be, they're not going to work with you. They're just not cooperative with you. Whyever that is whyever that is. Just let somebody else handle it. I understand it's a level of respect and responsibility on your side, but trust that the people around you will help this work out. You still get the Sun card as an outcome. So you're fine. You're going to get a really good outcome. I just feel like let other people help you. Because it's like that level of responsibility. Like, I wouldn't send somebody else to do something I feel I should be responsible for. I'm not going to tell somebody else go pick up the mess that I made because I made it. It's my responsibility. So I'll go do it. But like, it's almost like somebody saying, yeah, I know that you did that. How about this? You go do that for me, and I'll go over there because there's that dog there that doesn't really like you, but that dog likes me. So the dog won't bite me. So I'll go clean up the mess over there. Nobody gets bitten. You can do that for me over here. We both get something done. Let's balance it that way. You help me, I help you that way. Does that work? Did I make that message right? Because Taurus has a high level of responsibility, which is cool. I like that. I like that a lot. But I'm just getting, if you can balance it in a different way, we're like, all right, I'll take care of one of your responsibilities and I'll let you take care of one of my responsibilities, and we'll balance it that way. I feel like if you do that, I feel like you'd be more at peace, because Taurus is very big with responsibility, and they don't like to just hand off something they feel they should do to somebody else without balancing it in some respect. So I feel like if you just like, okay, you can do that for me, what can I do for you? And I feel like you'll be at peace with it that way. I think that'll work for you. I hope. Let me know in the comments. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.